Welcome to the 2024 Synchronized Swimming season and the 2024 Online Rules module. My name is Jason Nickleby. I'm an Assistant Director with the League and the Director of the Officiating Program. I will be narrating the first and last administrative sections of this module. Welcome to the 2024 Synchronized Swimming season and the 2024 Online Rules module. My name is Jason Nickleby. I'm an Assistant Director with the League and the Director of the Officiating Program. I will be narrating the first and last administrative sections of this module. We will now cover some general and synchronized swimming specific information before moving on to the few rule changes we have for 2023. We will cover the editorial changes, some points of emphasis for this year, and then review several rules. As a reminder, if a coach, parent, or other concerned party has an eligibility question such as chemical or behavior issues, should direct those questions to the activities director. Even if a synchronized swimmer is ineligible, the officials are not to rule on such matters, and all inquiries should be directed to the activities director of the school involved. Even in situations where the AD brings this to the attention of the officials, the activities directors are responsible for handling these situations, and officials do not get involved in alleged bylaw violations.
We will now cover rule changes and rule reminders for the upcoming season. The rules governing the season are the supplemental rules provided by the High School League, as well as the figure section of the 2021 USAAS Rulebook. Bring both with you to every meet you officiate.
Rule change number 6 under methods of scoring. For both figure competition and routine competition, the results will become final 24 hours after the home meet coach sends the away coach with the meet results spreadsheet.
The next few slides talk about referee penalties. So first, in the figure competition, the 1-point penalty is no longer given for adding a twist or an open rotation or a spin. This slide talks about the routine penalties during routine competition. Half-point penalties have been eliminated. Please review the 1-point penalties. Next, we're reviewing the 2-point penalties for routines. 2-point penalties shall be deducted from the routine score if, during deck movements in a routine, competitors are executing stacks, towers, or human pyramids. A competitor has deliberate contact with the pool deck during a routine, or a competitor competes out of the order of the draw, except for unusual circumstances, as determined by the referee.
Officials should confirm their eligibility by presenting a valid copy of their State High School League credentials from their arbiter profile page.
This is a reminder of the duties of the meet manager. One of those duties is to verify that all officials are eligible and meet the high school league requirements by seeing a valid copy of the MSHSL credentials for synchronized swimming from their arbiter profile page. The figure competition shall consist of 4 figures, and these figures are number 101, ballet leg single at 1.6 degree of difficulty, number 302, Barracuda, at a 1.9 degree of difficulty. A 348 tower, 1.9 difficulty. And a 360 walkover front, which is a 1.9 degree of difficulty.
You will notice that the maximum time limits for routines have been shortened by 15 seconds, with the exception of solo maximum times. Let's look at figure rules. For those who also judge USA Artistic Swimming, this is now their current language for design and control. And for this high school season, we are using the USA Artistic Swimming 2021 figure rules. Unless otherwise specified in the descriptions, for design, figures should be executed with each transition clearly defined in pattern and body position. And for control, figures should be executed high, controlled, and in uniform motion and tempo. For figure execution, only the transitions for which exceptional tempos are defined shall be performed at those specified tempos. All other transitions continue at the normal uniform tempo. Design is the accuracy of positions and transitions. One example would be pike versus over pike or under pike within the tower or walkover. Another example would be the accuracy of the 90-degree angles in the ballet leg figure. Control considers extension, height, stability, clarity, and uniform motion or execution of the tempo indicated. When judging extension under control, we would expect the legs, feet, torso, and neck to be fully extended, unless otherwise specified. Unless specified, all figures are executed in a stationary position. Also under control, water level and lines should remain constant unless otherwise specified. Maximum height is always desirable unless otherwise indicated, and extraneous movements should be minimal. This section will review the rule changes for routines. We have adopted the USA Artistic Swimming scoring system. Each routine will receive 3 scores, a score for execution, artistic impression, and for difficulty. Let's take a look at each one of these. Execution judges will evaluate the execution and synchronization of all skills and movements within a routine and shall award 1 score. Artistic impression judges shall award 1 score, factoring in choreography, music interpretation, and manner of presentation. Difficulty judges shall award 1 score for difficulty. Difficulty is considered the quality of being hard to achieve and the difficulty of all movements and synchronization. This slide shows a breakout of each score. Notice the execution breakout for routines. For solos, execution is 90%, while synchronization is 10%. And in the duet, trio, and team, execution is 50% and synchronization 50% of the total execution score. You can see it's 100% for both solo, duet, trio, team in artistic impression and difficulty. Next are points of emphasis for figures. When judging figures, you should know the most difficult part of each figure. The Fino weight chart is a great tool to understand the difficulty of each transition and position within a figure. An example of the Fino weight chart will follow. It will provide figure illustrations, the numerical difficulty value, and the proportional value. This chart of the ballet leg single figure in general indicates the figure is pretty balanced. The 2 most difficult parts of the figure, shown with the NV of 11, are the transition from bent knee to ballet leg and from ballet leg to bent knee. If the swimmer would have executed the figure perfectly to receive a 10, the 2 most difficult transitions would have been awarded 2.56 points according to the PV. There are 3 positions in the Barracuda: back layout, back pike, and vertical position. Note that the thrust and descent are the same tempo, rapid. This slide shows different values for each transition in Barracuda. The first transition from back layout to back pike is valued at 10. Back pike to vertical is 31, and the vertical descent is 15. The most difficult portion of this figure is from back pike to vertical.
Please review the description as well as the positions within the tower.
This slide also provides the Fino weight chart for the transitions within tower. You can see that the most difficult portion of this figure is from fishtail to vertical, valued at 20.5. A good reminder in judging is to spread the range of scores. With over 250 synchronized swimmers, it is not very likely that they will all fall in the 5.0 to 5.9 range. And while the ultimate goal may be to get the correct ranking for all swimmers, even with 40-plus swimmers, that may be impossible. So here are some manageable officiating goals. First, place the figure in the correct category: 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and so on. Next, even place them more specifically within that category: low, mid, or high. And third, the goal for the panel may be to be within 3/10 of each other. And what should you do if you blow a score? Let it go and move on. Don't penalize other swimmers by your mistake, and don't box yourself in. Give yourself grace, and remember that the panel works together to provide the swimmer with a score. Points of emphasis for routines.
Scoring for routines is 30% execution, 40% artistic impression, and 30% difficulty. And there's a breakdown on this next slide that will review that. Review the penalty changes for this year, and also remember that judging always begins from the standpoint of perfection.
This is another slide of the breakdown of scoring for routines. When judging routine difficulty, you need to look at all aspects of difficulty. Develop an effective tracking system for all the elements. Some examples of difficulty might be double arm egg beater, the amount of time underwater, a variety of lifts or throws, the variety of positions, spins, speed, traveling at angles, the number of formations, the distance of travel, and what they have done while they were traveling, blind changes, and complex hybrids. Additional points of emphasis. If there is going to be a discussion following figures, we are asking the officials to help provide feedback to coaches and swimmers by inviting a coach from each team to be present during the discussions following figures. Sometimes there is not a coach from each team on a panel, so the coaches may never hear feedback necessary for their athletes. But your knowledge and feedback helps to improve the sport. Some differences to be aware from the dual meet season to sections and state. First, routine time limits. There are no formal categories during the dual meet season, therefore only the times listed in the supplemental rules needed to be noted. During the section and state meets, you will need to know the maximums for short, long, and extended divisions. Also, the dual meet may have JV and varsity. Sections and state has short, long, and extended. Dual meet season officials are required to complete the rules interpretation meeting online and pass the online test. There are specific qualifications to be eligible to judge sections and state, including attendance at a mini clinic each year. So if you're a new official, you will want to look at those guidelines in the official's manual and plan some mentoring sessions this season.
Remember that in a figure, a 1-point penalty would apply if, in the opinion of the panel referee, the swimmer performed an incorrect sequence or sequence other than described in the handbook of the listed figure. An incorrect sequence would include an added twist or spin.
The referee will need to make use of the failed figure penalty if the swimmer does not perform the correct figure after 2 attempts. Here's a reminder about registration. In addition to your registration with the high school league, officials also need to register with the Officials Association to be scheduled for dual meets. Check out the Officials Association website for additional information about registration and requirements. Remember in all circumstances that you represent a professional group, the officials of Minnesota High School Synchronized Swimming. How you handle yourself may be modeled by others. You aren't just providing scores to the athletes. Your actions should be aligned with the high school league code of ethics.
Hi, this is Jason. I'm back to conclude this module. Officials, be sure to take advantage of the additional information that is available on the Arbiter Central Hub page. Materials and information will be posted to the Central Hub as they are made available. Currently, there are several documents that you can find by clicking on the Synchronized Swimming link at the bottom of the page. Coaches and judges must be aware of the rules and policies for your sport. This information is located on the coach's dashboard and the Arbiter Central Hub page. Additionally, event cue sheets can be found on the dashboard and the Arbiter Central Hub page. And remember that judges do not have anything to do with ruling on bylaw violations. Coaches need to know how their sport is run and administered, as well as ADs, and all of that can be found on the rules and policies for synchronized swimming. There are a number of online courses available for free at the NFHS Learning Center, which can be found at nfhslearn.com. There are professional development courses available for coaches, officials, administrators, and parents. Again, log on to nfhslearn.com to log in, register, and learn more. The Interscholastic Officiating course is available at nfhslearn.com, and this course is about 30 to 45 minutes of information that is ideal for new officials or those in their first few years of officiating. Topics include basics of becoming and staying an official, the science of officiating, the art of officiating, and how to combine both of those skills for successful officiating. The state coordinator for synchronized swimming judges is Linda Gust. Linda is your first point of contact for rule interpretations or questions regarding judging. This information is also available on the coach's dashboard and on Arbiter.